Okay, that's your auxiliary belt out the way. There's a couple of bolts. Hold this in place. Yeah, there's another one down there, and there's a bolt here that holds the cable harness. Wow. Well, that is a really awkward bugger to get to, isn't it? Check if it's an 8 or a 10. It seems to be struggling on an 8. Yeah. Oh no, it is an 8. It is an 8. Ah. Of course we put it where a spanner can't reach. What on earth do you want to put a spanner on it for? Clack. Bit of wasted time. I'll either one get just a bit of cloth to mop up a bit of spilt oil. Okay. Now, the next thing to come off is this pulley and this pipe. The centre tool, which slots into a spline to hold the pulley. We'll put a spanner over that to hold that in place, maybe that way round. Then we've got the T50 Torx tool, which hopefully will hold and undo the bolt. Ah, that could be a problem. Well, I'm sorry folks, you absolutely missed that. After putting a larger socket on it, it took a hell of a pull, but eventually the bolt came out. It came out with a tremendous snap and almost sent me reeling backwards. That's the bolt out of place. that's the pulley out of place. Seems pretty clear that that's where the oil's coming from. Right, next thing to come off is that coolant pipe. Now, this is going to be a bugger, I think. I think that's going to be an absolute sod to come off. As I understand it, right, that's got to come off next. Right, I think I need to undo that actually. Brilliant. Okay, that screw just ended up on the floor, so no big deal there. Got a bolt at the front here, holds another bracket on. It's all part of this bracket assembly. It's held by a bolt at the front here. There's a large bracket which also holds the plastic bracket that supports the cooling pipes from the aircon pump. And that's that bracket free. That's that wiring free. Right, that one goes in there. Just sliding the bolts back into place so I don't lose them. I know where they go. Next thing is the Torx for these two. Too small, that's going to be a T30. There was me saying this was going to be the easy bit. Okay, what I'm working on at the moment, if I can get this in place, is trying to disconnect that hose. Now, this grey spool here is supposed to turn and allow the catch to come free. This should then just pull out of place. What I'm wondering to myself now was it locked into place in the first place? Did I lock it? Or have I just locked it now so that now it won't come off? Okay, let's coolant pipe out. Next, I'm going to take that chain case off. In order to make this video a bit shorter, rather than showing you every bolt getting unscrewed, just to let you know, I've started to remove this casing already. There are 2 bolts of hex head 10mm from there and from down here, which I've already released, and removed one from there. There's one just under the cover here, one here, and one here, and one here. Those 3 plus that, and the one down the bottom here. I've also loosened off all the T30 torque bolts from all round the edge. All I've got to do now is take those off. That will free this outer cover. Right, she should be ready to come off now. It seems to be pretty loose. Check with no bolts left. Clear, 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 all the way around. Well, obviously nothing at the top there, so what I might do is just get a plastic wedge and see if I can force a plastic wedge through it to get it. Now, the temptation is by many, these are just cheap plastic wedge tools for wedging things open, basically. But the temptation is to try and drive screwdrivers in there. But if you drive a screwdriver in there, you stand the possibility of damaging the face. Whereas at least with one of these plastic wedges, the worst you're going to do is damage a gasket which you're going to replace anyway. Now, for some reason that's struggling. I know not why. That is struggling to come away. It wants to snap back into position. It's as if something here is holding it. Check all the bolts again. Make sure, yeah, definitely everything's free. These aren't securing bolts. They only hold the pipe in place. They don't go through. There's a plate on here that looks like it's riveted into place by 3 rivets. Doesn't... we found it. There is one more bolt. One more bolt tucked way under there. I've probably loosened it. I haven't actually released it. Never force. Ain't coming, there's a good reason for it. That. I hadn't even loosened that one. Nevertheless. There we go. Now let's try her. Well, doesn't that make a difference? I don't know, I sort of think it looks damaged, that seal. It looks like it's threaded even. Oh no, it's a labyrinth seal. It's a labyrinth seal, but the marks on it sort of suggest it may be damaged. And there it is. That's the main input. Camshaft under a tensioner blade, being held by this tensioning device. This is a locking arm that when you lift that you can lock the pressure back, which will release the tension on the chain. These devices, that and its friend over here, which you can just about see here, are not in any particular position on the shaft. There's no locking keys or anything like that. It doesn't really matter. But the centre bolts are impossible to undo if you don't put a locking device between those two. So the next job has to be locking the crankshaft into place and locking the cams into place. To remove the end cap and set the timing device onto the end of the crankshaft. We've got a lot of oil covering the bottom of the crankshaft here. In a way that does us a little bit of a favour because it lubricates all these, oh dear, bolts and fasteners. On the negative side, it means that dirt gathers on here and it can get very crusty. There we go. Again, completely wrecked, but at least it's out. Now we have the special tool to fit. Retracted this pin. Now the third pin goes in the bottom hole here. 2 pins into the top there. These are very slightly offset. One is further in than the other. So this can only go in one way around. The centre piece obviously here goes into the centre of there, and then these 2 pins into their appropriate slots. That doesn't feel very in. Better. Oh, okay, I cannot turn that. Oh, damn it. Right, so now we just keep turning a little bit at a time until that pin clicks into place. And that's it. That is the timing set. Now to remove the cam chain tensioner, according to the directions, there's a spring clip here which holds a locking device for the return. There's a piston here which pushes up against this tensioner blade. I have to release this spring clip to allow this to push back down. Once I do that, I can put a pin into this small hole here to hold that back, holding the tension off. Okay, now I did actually try doing this off camera, and when I lifted this spring clip up, a small part fell out. I don't know what this part is, but it's got a little sawtooth edge to it, which I presume is for helping locate the piston. I can try pushing down on that belt, and on that tensioner. It's not making any difference whatsoever. Pulling this out of the way doesn't seem to make any difference to anything. To be honest, I seem to be having a problem at the moment just getting that to retract. I really don't know what to do for the best. The temptation is just to unbolt it and pull it out, but that spring-loaded piston there will just fly out the moment it's been held captive by this blade. Pushing that back against the... Oh! What happened there? Did that move? Again, I've got a little Allen key here which I was going to use to slot in that hole to hold it, but I don't know. If I try and take that out of there, that's under so much pressure, it'll virtually explode. I don't know what to do for the best here, folks. Right, I'm slightly confused here. We've got great tension on here, we've got tension up on here, but here it's very, very slack. Why is that slack? And yet these two are very taut. Do you know, I think I'm going to have to take the risk. I'm just going to have to unbolt it and let it explode, because I don't see what else I can do. I do live in fear. Right, that's loose. That's loose. Pray for me. That feels under tension, as does that. Oh. Honestly, I'm waiting for it to explode. You can feel the pressure acting up on it. And that one's popped out of place now. That's that one popped out of place now. Completely out. That's completely out now. As soon as it comes free, that's going to absolutely fly out of there. You can see that slowly rising out of there. It's going to explode, I can feel it. Yeah, it's going to explode. Right, I can see the groove now. That pin is supposed to slot in. Right, I think what I'll do now is cloths. Cloths everywhere. We'll put cloths underneath it, we'll put a cloth above it, so if it flies up, we'll catch it. If it falls down, we'll catch it. Cloths.